Get ready for Buzz TV Adventure, exploring and discovering exciting destinations. Hello, I'm Jeff Vogel for Vero Buzz TV Adventure. Today we're going on indeed a great adventure because we are going to discover Florida Organic Aquaculture. Whatever that is, I'm not sure, but I think they grow shrimp. We'll find out more because we're going to be talking with Clifford Morris. He is the president and founder of Florida Organic Aquaculture. Plus, look at this. We're going to get a tour given to us of the facility by Les Newson. Come on, let's go. We are inside, and you are Les. How did you get involved in all this?
Originally, I saw the concept when I was in South Africa from the founder and CEO, Clifford Morris, and he convinced me to invest in the project in the USA, and that's how my first involvement was in 2010.
So you're sort of an investor?
I am the first investor in the project, but I'm now actually I'm the executive vice president of.
You must have seen some value in it. Tell me, what in general, what is the whole concept of this facility?
Well, the whole idea was that we needed sustainable food production was the catalyst that the founder saw, and he identified first of all a seafood as one of the fastest growing, and in particular shrimp, where the Americans are approaching 2 billion pounds a year consumed, and 94% is imported.
We're in one of several buildings. How many buildings are there? And we just passed the hatchery. What happens there?
The hatchery, we have our own brood stock, and we produce what we call the baby shrimp larvae, and we can produce about 4 million of them a month. And then we transfer them to this building after 25 days. We're in what we call the nursery, and they spend about 30 days in the nursery just as a child. They learn to grow up, and then they'll be transferred to the grow-out buildings. We're going to be having 8 of them, and each one produces 1 million pounds a year.
Now, the hatchery process, review that for us again real quick.
Well, after mating the shrimp, they lay the eggs, and a female will lay anything between 50 and 200,000 eggs. They will hatch after about 8 hours, and then the shrimp are put into larva rearing tanks where they spend about a total of 25 days. And then we call them shrimp then. And then we move those babies across here to the nursery where they spend another 30 days.
Walk us around a little bit and show us what we've got here, okay?
Well, this building has got 18 tanks, and we put probably around about 250 to 300,000 in each tank. And when these go to the big raceways, which is the grow-out facility, we put about up to 500,000 babies in the big grow-out tanks. And each of those tanks are 300 foot long, and they contain 225,000 gallons of water.
Let's just walk down this way a little bit. There's a lot of empty land here still, so a lot of room for development.
Yes, we got 122 acres. We
can walk around.
Yeah,
he'll follow us with the camera. Don't worry about him.
We're looking to expand. At the moment, we can probably put up 8 production facilities, producing close on 9 million pounds in this facility.
Take me to the center point.
Okay. So these tanks here, they will live here for 30 to 35 days, and when they're transferred out of these tanks, they'll be between 0.5 and 1 gram in weight. So we go by their mass. So they live in a bacterial environment. If you want to turn the camera to have a look here, this is called golden water. The shrimp live in this water. It's a bacteria, it's alive, it breathes. So we oxygenate the water, which both the biofloc that's what that scum that you see floating on top, and they'll live here for 30 days.
Now this whole process is totally organic.
It's totally organic. The water comes from a deep sea well we have here, which is 2,300 feet. It's absolutely pristine prehistoric water, which is on site, and we pump it out of the ground and we use it here. It's got all the elements that we need in it, and it's the same salinity as Atlantic water.
Is this shrimp farming different from other facilities in the world?
Yes, most of the shrimp farming is done outdoor in huge ponds that are subject to the bird life, the outdoor life, which is then subject to disease, and that's a problem, and it's seasonal. doing it inside buildings where we control the environment and we can control the bioaccess, we can grow the shrimp in 1/10 of the footprint that you would need of an outdoor pond.
Justo, just go ahead and walk around with the camera if you want. As long as you can hear us, wander around anywhere you want.
I want to get somebody to get some shrimp so you can see some.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Yeah. Let's walk over there and do it. And what, you know, how environmentally good is this?
No, we don't use any additives in the water. We just have the natural seawater, and we feed the shrimp. And about 3/4 of their diet is they get out of the water is the biochemistry that happens in the water. They get their life from that, and we do supplement it with protein feed, about 30% protein feed, and any uneaten food is converted into cellular protein, and it's a recirculating system, so we never discharge the water. It just recircles during the whole life of the shrimp.
And you're not using any additives or chemicals or anything that's going to hurt the environment?
No. We top up as the salinity increases with evaporation. We use fresh water to top it up. We don't add any chemicals in whatsoever.
How many people work here?
At the moment, there's about 50 people total. When it's fully operational with 8 barns, we'll probably have upwards of 200 people working.
Wow. And as we mentioned, there's all kinds of open land right now still.
Yep.
So plenty of room for...
Yeah, plenty of room for expansion with the citrus industry under dire stress because of disease.
Right.
It's another farming...
How lucky is Fellsmere to have this facility?
Oh, we think it's great, and we feel lucky to have Fellsmere because we have labor that we use, locals, and most of our labor, more than 3/4 of them are local people.
You were going to show us some shrimp.
I want to get you some shrimp, yeah.
And how long is...
Michael.
How long has this facility been here now?
It's been here about 2 years. This nursery that you're in now has only been operating for 3 weeks.
Wow.
So we only just built the nursery system and the hatchery. I just wanted you to get some shrimp and show them some shrimp.
So at what stage are we right now with the growth?
These shrimp are ready to go into grow out. They're about 0.5 to 1 gram each. I'll show you them here. You can bring the camera here. These ones are ready now to go into the big time grow out, which we call raceways. And they will live in those raceways, which I'll show you, for 90 days. So the total process is about 150 days total time in the water.
And totally renewable.
Yes, and we recycle that water. It's never thrown away or ditched. We just recycle it and refresh it with more water and top it up, and we reuse the water.
Okay. Would you like to take us to the next building?
We'll take you to the production building. Each building is 4.2 acres, but I'll talk to you when we get there.
Okay.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs, just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Les, where are we now?
We're in the main production building. This building is 1/4 of a mile long. It's 3.5 NFL fields long. It's where the shrimp do most of their growing, which happens over a 90-day period. There are 20 ponds, which we call raceways, in this building, and each one will hold up to 500,000 shrimp.
Who designed this?
The basic design was done by ourselves from the technology that we developed ourselves. right down to all the pipe work and the aeration and the pumps that use it. It's all local material and local equipment that we've used.
And it's, as you said, it's all local and domestic, all USA?
All USA manufactured. The ponds were constructed by ourselves. The first few were out of sandbags and pond liner. The last things were out of lumber. The building itself is a pole barn construction, which is part of America's history, and it was the most economical building to put up here.
Has this kind of thing ever been done before?
No, not on the scale, and never indoors to the size.
Okay. So getting started, those first 6 months, were there a few errors?
Oh yeah, there was no manuals for us to say this is how you do it. We had to do all our own research, our own testing, and change it as we evolved down the building, so things changed on the way down. And we're still not there yet. We are learning things every week, every month. We're learning new things.
It's becoming more and more of a science for you.
It is. And we're also learning that the scale that we're doing it, there's 4.5 million gallons in this building of seawater. We're learning that on this scale, you have to mechanize procedures, reporting systems, and that's what even feed systems.
Why are the tanks so long?
Because economically that's the way to do it. You can't do it in a small little tank in your garage. This is the scale to make it economically viable. Right. And as I say, this building will produce about 1.1 million pounds a year.
What can go wrong?
Everything can go wrong. They live in an environment which has to be controlled. The process and the water they live on is critical to their whole well-being. So we have to manage the water. We have to manage the animals in the water.
It doesn't happen too often, but what happens when the temperatures drop down into the 30s and 40s?
Well, the building has got controls on for chilling and for air conditioning to control the humidity. They control the temperature. The temperature is at 84 degrees. The humidity is around about 80 degrees, and that's all controlled automatically. The aeration of the water, because they need oxygen to survive, is also controlled automatically, and the pumps will increase or decrease.
So even on a 45-degree day out there, this stays warm?
It stays 84 degrees. All year round, the temperature stays in the building 84, the water stays 84. All year round.
There's a lot of people that would love to come in here to get warm on some of those cold days.
I'm sure, and there's 2.5 million cubic feet of air in this building.
Wow. And this is all economically feasible?
Yes, we believe it is, and the numbers will show it. Even the building is very economical using local lumber, and we believe it is.
Yeah. Can this whole technology be applied to other agriculture and seafood growing industries?
Well, there are already a lot of industries in finfish and clams and oysters. This is just another wing of seafood that we do. But yes, I mean, they're already doing this, mostly large outscale. They're doing salmon, pompano, cobia. They're all doing it outdoor farms, mostly not indoor farms.
This is really the future.
This is the future of agriculture. Sustainable being the key word.
Yeah. And controllable.
And controllable. You have to control the environment and the animals inside the building.
And the need for this in part is not only a growing global population, but also the diminishing of natural resources.
Natural resources. This is the whole issue. It's got to be sustainable. It has to keep itself going without raping any of the other environmental issues.
You showed us some of the young shrimp in the other building.
I'm going to show you some big shrimp now.
All right.
Let me just.
Are you proud of the product?
Absolutely proud of the product. We'll show you now. We're absolutely proud of the product. It's a wonderful product. The shrimp, it's America's favorite seafood by far. Took over from tuna in about 2006. And it is by far the most consumed seafood in America.
Yeah, and a favorite at so many restaurants.
Absolutely. That's why we're in this business.
Yeah, I'm not sure that people have a handle, a lot of Americans have a handle on how to prepare shrimp at home, but they love to have it when they go out.
Oh, absolutely. I just want to show you this tank here. You can see the environment the shrimp grow in. This is a mature tank now. It's almost ready for harvesting. The shrimp have been in here in this tank probably 90 days. You can see the brown color of it. That's its environment. It's called biofloc, and that's ideal environment for the shrimp. And if you look very closely, you could probably see some floating near the top, but I will just harvest some now for you.
Okay. Again, we are at the facility in Fellsmere that is making history and is really changing not only the current but future of agriculture in America and throughout the world. We're at the Florida Organic Aquaculture facility. So what have we got here?
These shrimp are about 60 days old. They've been growing in this tank. They've got about another 30 days to go. So there's an idea of what they look like. This is called Pacific White or Vaname shrimp.
Are there different varieties?
There are different varieties. This is the Pacific White, and it's the most widely used in farm shrimp. In fact, probably 98% is the Pacific White.
And the most popular for eating.
And the most popular for eating. So normally this tank would produce approximately 12,000 pounds. And then we recycle the water, and then we restock it after about 3 or 4 days. And then it goes through another 90-day cycle.
You've relocated to this area?
Yes.
You like it?
I love it.
Have you been here before?
No, I came here 2 years ago, and Vero Beach and this area is the jewel of Florida, the most unlikely jewel of Florida. We love it here.
And what you're doing is pumping new blood into the agriculture industry in Florida. And Florida is already big on agriculture.
Florida is, and we're going to make it the aquaculture center of the U.S. and hopefully down the track, the world.
Yeah. Les, I want to thank you for this tour that you've given us, and I wish you the absolute best luck, not just yourself personally, but this is really, and something important is happening here, isn't it?
We believe that.
Yeah.
I'll take you to our second production building, which is just being built.
Okay.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Okay. Les, we are in what I'm going to call Command Central.
This is one of the control rooms. This controls half of the ponds in the first production building. Each one of these little machines on the wall, as you see, they control the pumps. They control the temperature in the pumps, the dissolved oxygen in the water. It's all read automatically. And these equipment here can actually read what it is. And should there be a problem, it can send an internet message to our production staff and identify what the problem is and where it's at. So everything is automated. We have backup power, so should we have a power outage?
I was just going to ask you that.
Well, we have diesel generators on standby, right, and they kick in automatically should FPL power fail. But we have 2 loops of FPL power as well, and so because the shrimp will only live about 10 minutes without power in that pond.
Seriously?
Seriously, and that's an expensive error.
Why is that? I mean, what is it they're missing?
They're missing the oxygen, because the water itself is consuming oxygen, and you'd have up to 300,000 to 400,000 animals there as they get bigger, and they consume oxygen, and they won't last more than 10 or 15 minutes.
And temperature-wise, how much flexibility have they got?
Well, we keep it at 84 degrees. Right. There's not much fluctuation in the temperature because we have automated natural gas-fired heaters that keep it at 84 degrees.
Yeah. So it really is very controlled, and not a lot of room for error.
No, you have a very small window to control that water quality, and the scientists here have to keep that environment in that little envelope, I call it, and that's the challenge, to keep them happy, to keep them in utopia. That's his mission.
Now, you just showed us a second building that you're putting up, and you're planning 8.
We're planning 8. That second one will be functional in about 3 months' time. And then straight after that, before it's completed, we will start number 3 and then 4. Wow. And within the next 3 years, we should have 8 buildings.
The growth from a business perspective seems to be huge.
Yes, that is the whole idea, and it means a lot to this area, and it'll mean a lot to Florida.
Yeah. You said how many people work here now, and what are you looking at in the future?
We're probably just over the 50 mark, and it'll be beyond 200 when we have the 8 barns.
Yeah. And there must be, and it's not just those 50 to 200 that benefit.
No.
A whole lot of people benefit from this.
The knock-on with 2 barns is about 500 to 600 people, if you include distribution and marketing and packaging and all the things that form part of the process. But we're also constructing a fully equipped processing facility here to process the shrimp as well. And we have our own hatchery, and even down the line maybe a feed mill.
Yeah.
To feed the shrimp.
The future is bright here in Fellsmere.
Hopefully, if the sun keeps shining, yeah, it will be bright.
All right, we're gonna talk to the CEO next, I think.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
The Furniture Man is a locally owned business that has served the needs of the community of Vero Beach and Indian River County for over 30 years. Here at the Furniture Man, we offer fine pieces to furnish each and every room of your home. Specializing in Floridian style, come browse our selection of bedroom, dining room, patio, and living room. Come explore over 10,000 square feet of showroom where you can find mattresses, recliners, sofas, dining, and more. Visit us at 673 US 1 in Vero Beach, Monday through Saturday for all of your furniture needs.
This new mom is struggling to get the skates just right. Now she's holding on for dear life.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
We are in the boardroom of Florida Organic Aquaculture, and Cliff Morris is with us. You're the CEO. How did you become the CEO of this operation?
Well, that's a much longer question to answer than it is to ask.
Yeah.
I've basically been an entrepreneur all my life, and emigrating to the United States in 2006, I was looking for unique opportunities to, number one, source investors. How do I source investors? Coming to the United States, I realized I, number one, speak funny, and number two, I don't have fraternity brothers. And it's tough. You know, you don't have a network. I mean, essentially what I'm saying is you arrive as an immigrant without...
From scratch, really.
Absolutely. And I was familiar with this EB5 investor program. I could raise money from foreign investors who also had a desire to come and live in the United States. The United States is a very, very attractive destination, and many people want to live here. So I matched the ability to raise the money from foreign investors with what I'd identified as a big investment opportunity, sustainable food production. And those were the two ingredients to this process.
Do you have are you a mental telepathist? Did you know how big this was going to be?
I didn't. I have to be quite honest. I didn't. I had identified. Historically, I've always generated the bulk of my income from asset management. So if you say, what's the core of your life experience? It's asset management. I've always been an entrepreneur as well at the same time. And it was in doing future trend analysis, and this was about 10 years ago, that I picked up sustainable food production as the next big thing. And it wasn't sort of resonating with a lot of people at that time. But right now, it's gaining momentum. Sustainable food production, not only aquaculture, but just food production in general. And even in the United States, I recently was invited to speak on a panel at MIT on sustainable food production, specifically aquaculture, and a lot of big thinkers were at this seminar. It was a 2-day seminar, and MIT are holding this regularly. This is the 3rd or 4th year they've held it. So the sustainable food production was what triggered me to get into this business. And the real honest reason was profit. And, you know, yeah, I like sustainable, I like environmentally friendly, of course, but it's all for naught if there isn't profit. Right. So ultimately the profit is the motivation.
Well, it sort of goes to the heart of any business or entrepreneurial effort. And you spoke of asset management. I don't know if you realize it, but you're managing all kinds of assets out in the street.
I'm very aware of it, and people say to me, "What experience do you have about aquaculture?" I say, I obviously I've had to train myself, but before I got into the business, I didn't have a lot of aquaculture experience. What I had was business experience, and I think that's the differentiator for my business. Is I've hired competent brain power and skills, but I'm continually applying business philosophy, business methodology on how we make decisions. Yeah. We also, and you're quite right, a lot of lip service is given to human resource management. We do invest in our own people, we train, we develop, and I think I can say without fear of contradiction, you could go unannounced and speak to any of my staff and say to them, do you enjoy working here? And you're going to get a resounding yes. And that's what I want. That's important to me. As much as making money is important, I need to have a satisfied and holistic workforce.
Well, in addition to the people, I actually was referring to the water resources, the eggs, everything is managing assets.
You're totally right. Everything we do is an asset from beginning to end. Yeah. And yeah, it is challenging. Don't get me wrong. It's an exciting.
You got to take it for granted because you're here every day, turning that, getting that grindstone to work. But you're starting to get phone calls from people wanting to know what you're doing right and how they can get in on a part of it or take part in it themselves or start something themselves.
We've had those phone calls for over a year already. We have visitors from all over the world. We're the showcase, the world showcase for this type of business, this methodology, this recirculating aquaculture system. Oh no, we just yesterday I hosted 2 of my countrymen from South Africa that spent intensive time with me and want us to enter into a technology transfer agreement with them in South Africa, which happens to be my home country. Right. So no, we're inundated with calls, and when I say inundated, I mean literally every week, at least one, sometimes multiple. So
I'm going to get in trouble if I don't ask about the upcoming retail outlet for shrimp coming to Fellsmere.
The retail outlet's really just a method for us to satisfy local demand. Again,
people want some.
Of course, they do, and they just drive up here unannounced and say, "Can I buy some shrimp?" So
Holly came with her. She brought her cooler with her. She was hoping to get some.
We're good. If they haven't given you, I'll give that order immediately. But that's what the retail store is intended to do. I've gone one step further with the retail store. We using that retail store also as an outlet for local farm producer, other products. Great. So stuff that's produced locally that normally gets sold at a farmer's market, we're saying, bring your stuff, we'll put it on our shelves, and we'll use our store as your little retail outlet.
Well, that just, having more merchandise on the shelf just brings in more customers.
Absolutely, and correct. So we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, so to say, helping the community and, of course, making it an attractive destination.
You are really making a difference in this county and globally as well. So I want to thank you for your time today. All right. Thanks.